Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. This is gonna be a weird one, and let me start off by saying this is not even remotely close to a how-to. Please don't do this. Please don't follow along at home if you're trying to get your Civic back on the road over the weekend because it's smoking too much and you got to make it to work on Monday. But no, this is pretty much purely for entertainment and because I'm so broke. So we're just doing this as cheaply as possible, and we're trying a few things along the way. And yeah, really, I'm just having fun with it and seeing how much I can get away with. So don't roast me too bad in the comments. I know. I've watched YouTube too. I know what goes into building a professional motor. Blah blah blah. Okay. Anyway, unplug your keyboards and let's do this thing. All right. Well, this is my super ghetto crank polishing setup here. We had drill on this side with a socket adapter, and then we spun this at as slow as the drill could go, and I used a little bit of like WD-40, and then I think I had 2,000. No, sorry, I had 1,000 grit sandpaper, and then I just put that on there, and it's hard to explain, but oh, that's dirty. I don't want to put that on there. I don't think I have any clean sandpaper. Anyway, I just held it with both hands, like one on the top, one on the bottom, and then just held it kind of straight and just walked around with each lobe as it went. And just like applying almost no pressure, just enough to keep it in contact. And then, yeah, just kept it lubed up and kept it going, cleaned her off every once in a while, and did that a couple times. And that's basically it. I mean, it was pretty simple. You wouldn't be able to do this with a V8, Craig, because depending on the size of your drill, but my drill was getting warm just keeping this thing spinning at a low RPM. So yeah. Anyway, that's that. It's definitely a two-person job. I had wife came out and helped me, and she ran the drill for me and just kept it on there. And because that thing was torquing all over the place, there's no way I could hold that with one hand and then do sandpaper with the other. So yeah, just so you know, if you're gonna be super ghetto, at least have one super ghetto buddy to come help you. Yeah, that's my finished product right there. It's not bad at all. I tried not to take too much material off, or any. Pretty much I just shined it up. Yeah, this was a really messed up one. And you can see, maybe you can, maybe you can't. See, it's still got some lines in it, but it's nothing you can get a fingernail on. Yeah, I'm guessing that's just little heat lines from riding around, bearing material in there. Have to clean it up, but not bad. Yeah, this is the same thing. Still got some lines in it, but like smooth. So I used I think it's 800 grit, just cut it into a strip, and then ran that with some penetrating oil, which is what I had. I started with ATF, but I put too much on it and it was flying around everywhere and it got in my eyes. So I did that for just a little bit and then switched over to 1000 grit. Same thing, a little bit of oil on there just to polish it out. Just get rid of the scuffs. So, yeah, from what I can tell, it looks like it turned out pretty good, but I guess we'll know after we put it on and plastic gauge it. And if that's all good, then we'll see how it holds up in the car. So I think we're gonna move on and start honing out this block. Alrighty, boys. This is what happens when you don't have enough ring gap, and then you start making boosts and it starts getting warm. Score up your bores real bad. See, these ones right here, and they're kind of about just like that. That's where one of the rings was. I don't know if it's the top or bottom one. And then on the other side, there's a chunk too. And yeah, same thing. You can hear that? I'm kind of rough. Catching stuff with my fingernail. That's bad. That's not good at all. Well, they're all pretty consistent. So at least I know that at least I know that I set my ring gaps. I didn't just throw it in. But yeah, that's yeah, I just went off the factory service manual and thought, yeah, that'd be good. Apparently it wasn't, so which now I know more. I'm not gonna beat myself up too much about it, but if you didn't know, now you know, right? In all reality, this thing is probably should be just junked. This block, or at least taken to the machine shop and they would bore it out and get different pistons or something, because some of those are really deep. Like, she's gonna use a little bit of oil, have some blow by. But yeah, so if this was you and this was a daily and you had extra money, I would say you should probably just find a new block or get it redone professionally. But this is my fun car and I'm trying not to spend money. So I'm going to hit her with a hone and we're going to open up that ring gap till she's nice and smoky. And we're going to see where we go from there, see if it holds up. Alrighty, so this is a cylinder hone. And basically, you collapse these, stick them in there, let it go, and then start spinning with the drill. And just work it up. Oh, gentle. Work it up and down in there, and it's supposed to hold the cylinders. So, that's what I have for that. Drill is on low speed. So do that, but before we do that, give her a little bit of a clean. just in case there's any junk or debris left in there. The brake cleaner, parts cleaner. No sense smearing debris around. Now, before you start honing, you need some sort of oil. You can't do this dry. Take that off. Normally, like I don't know. Normally just a spray type oil or some engine oil. I have some used ATF here. I think that'll probably do the trick as long as I don't flick it into my eye. That a liberal helping. You don't need too much normally. Actually, I've probably overdone it. Too much time on one. Let me just clean it out real quick and we'll have a look there. That, compared to that, it's looking fresh and cut. Took some of the lines out, some of the smaller ones. We still have these. These are nasty. This one is quite deep, and that one's a little bit on the deep side. In reality, it's probably junk. This sleeve, you probably have to get it re-sleeved or at least bored out, but we're not going to do that. So yeah, I'm going to bust through the rest of these, get them all cleaned up and as good as we can, and then we'll do something else. Alright, here's our finished product. All freshly honed out. You can really see the scoring on them now. It's gross. That's gross. If this thing blows up, it's gonna be because of that scoring there. It'd be little heat pockets. Nasty, man. Well, whatever. We'll run it. Worst that happens, it blows up, and that's that, right? So it's just a D series. Just kidding, you're gonna make lots of power. Okay, next All right, so now we're going to attempt to fill a block. And I've seen this done a couple times on the YouTubes, but I've never done one. So normally guys will use DevCon, I think it's called. Some sort of epoxy something. I don't know. I couldn't find it around here where I live. And wasn't going to take the time out of my day to order it. So there's that. I have this Rosso block filler. It's not the same. Like I've seen the guys use the DevCon or even JB Weld. You know who you are, and you're deadly. This is not quite like DevCon. It's more not an epoxy. It would be like, I guess, a cement or a grout. They actually call it a grout. So yeah, I'm a little worried about it in my water jackets and stuff. Look at that. Well, let's just stop for a minute. You guys see my tan? That's crazy. So yeah, I'm a little worried about it in my water jackets and stuff, that it might, with the coolant circulating through, it might eat away at it. But you know what? It's used for filling blocks. They say that you can half fill, do whatever. I'm going to guess it works all right. I don't know. I've had it forever. So we're going to try it. And worst case, this block doesn't survive. And then that's that. At least we know, right? So what I've done is I sanded. I put this emery cloth. Comes in a roll like this. You probably have a roll in your garage. Cut a chunk off. Wrapped it around a screwdriver. And sanded all the surfaces. Give it a good clean with some parts cleaner. Wiped it all out with rags. So that should be good. It looks nice and scuffed up, if you could see it at all. Let's get kind of dark. Anyway, when guys normally do this, they fill to the top of the water jacket up with sand, or it's not sand, salt. That way, after the stuff sets up, then you just pull out your water pump, pull out your block drain, and then flush it out with a hose, and the salt all dissolves and leaves the DevCon or JB Weld exactly where it is, up top like a block guard. So we're going to try something like that. I have it plugged off with some plumber putty, the hole. You can kind of see it in there. And how it is there's a hump that comes up to here. So like, I'll take my screwdriver. There. Like that. And then it falls down to go into the sleeve. Right? And then that gives you cooling all around. It'd be a weird cooling spot right up here somewhere, but I mean, because you're only deep. So my thought is I'm going to fill the bottom underneath the water jacket all the way around with the block filler. I'm gonna let that set up and then put salt on top of that, just like guys normally would, and then pour the top little like half-inch or whatever it is guard around the top of the sleeves. Now I'm guessing there's probably a good reason why guys don't do that, and honestly, if I took 10 minutes to Google it, I could probably come up with it and change my own mind. But I think I have enough block filler. Like, this thing is, half full still. So we're going to do is give her a skiff so it lays down on the bottom, stabilizes the bottom of the sleeves, and then we'll do a a 1/2 inch spacer all the way around the top. So in my mind, it should still work fine, but until we actually test it, then we don't know. So anyway, it's cleaned up, it's ready. I'm just gonna mask off the cylinders and whatever holes that I don't want to get junk in, and we're gonna send her. All right, so we got our first layer in there. See it? See the mud in the bottom? That's it. Doesn't look too bad. I mixed it with hot water, and I mixed it pretty runny. I don't know. It seemed like I did a test batch before, just in a can, and it seemed like the hotter the water, the quicker it worked. So that's what we're doing, and we are just up. Two cameras in the way. Here we go. That's the water jacket. Let me get my screwdriver in there. All right, so then that's my finger. It's a very scientific measuring method. We are about solid 1/2 inch, a little more, below the bottom of the water jacket. So I don't know if that'll be good. We will see. I don't know if I explained this hose sticking through here. That's the drain for the block, and I still want to use that, obviously. So I just stuck this little tube through there, and once it sets up, then this is just plumber's putty, just to seal it up, and I'll dig that out of there, and probably the tube will be stuck. So I'll just heat the tube. If I have to, I'll just burn the tube, and yeah, then they'll have a drain hole so we can still flush out the block and drain it when we change motors, so we don't make a mess everywhere. So anyway, I gotta leave that for about 24 hours, or probably 24 hours before I can pour the next layer. All right, new day. This is all set up, hopefully. Yeah, not gonna waste a bunch of time. I'm just gonna pull this stuff apart, and or this tube out of there, I guess. We'll rip the tube out if we can, and then yeah, actually, will it come out? It will. Nice. I need 2 hands for this. That's neat. I thought I would have to fight with it a lot more to get it out of there. But I did not. Stuff. There we go. Alright, next thing I need to do is, well, put the coolant block drain back in, and then fill with table salt, which I guess is how they do it. Some seems to work for them. Up to the top of the water jacket, which is over here, which is about that far down from the top of the block. about an inch. That's about 3, so 2.5. So about 2 inches to 1.5 inches of table salt I need to put in there, and then we'll pack that down a little bit, and then we can do another pour with the block filler on top of there. Let everything set up. Take the plug out, take the putty out of where I have it puttied at the water pump, and flush all the salt out from underneath, so then we have coolant passage underneath our block guard, I guess. And yeah, we'll drill holes through it, lay the head gasket down on top, mark out the coolant holes, drill them through the guard, and I guess that's how guys do it. I've never done one before. We're learning together. Alright, I got her filled up. See nothing. Filled up. I ran out of table salt, so if it looks a little crystally, it's I stole it from the wife's bathroom. Anyway, I'm gonna mix them up some more filler and pour, and then yeah, wait another day before we can work with it. Alright, so I had the salt. Well, we're done now. We poured. I moved past that already. Pardon me. Anyway, so we poured. It looks pretty good. Looks not bad. Like so. Dang it. Do it without dipping it. There's right there. Gotta measure pretty much exactly an inch. So yeah, there's about an inch of cement, I guess, per filler on top of that salt. So I gotta let that set up for a day, and we'll come back tomorrow, I guess, or whenever I get time. Might be the weekend. Let it actually harden up really good, and then we'll drill some holes in it so that the coolant can still circulate, still work how it's supposed to, and yeah, hopefully it's as robust as it looks. Hopefully it's more robust than I think it will be. I don't know. I'm worried that as soon as coolant starts running through the holes that we have to drill, it's going to just eat it away, and I'm just going to have debris floating around in our cooling system. Hopefully that's not the case, because it was designed to fill cooling systems, but yeah, you never know, right? Things are not always as awesome as they seem. Alright, see you tomorrow. Alright, my guys. This is a couple of days later, and we got the holes drilled in there, which is all set up. I don't know, it didn't turn out too bad. There's a lot of porosity in the mixture, but see how that works. I guess the holes were about as big as I could go, big a drill bit as I could fit. So yeah, hopefully we got enough. I tried. Where's my head gasket? What I tried to do is I laid the head gasket over and I just marked out each and every one, and then these ones I just give them 2. And yeah, we got most of them. The only ones we didn't drill were these ones in between, just because I mean it'll still flow through them up into the head, because we got, you know, pretty decent gap around the top, but I didn't want to be drilling just that close right in the corner there, because then there would just be a little chunk left in there and that would for sure break off. So yeah, I think if it'll work, it'll work. And if it won't, then we'll know. I'll learn. All right. Because that was more work than one would expect. I was like, yeah, no big deal. Like, I actually did a test in a cup somewhere. I had a solo cup. I tested it and I poured it and then I waited a little bit and I drilled it and it was just buttery smooth. And I'm like, oh yeah, that worked great. Like, no problem at all. But then I let this stuff set up for however long it did. And when I went to drill it, I was like, man, this is rock solid. Like, okay. I broke off a drill bit in there at some point, so I had to fish around and get it all the way to the water pump hole, just like with a pick in there, moving it. It was standing straight up. Worked it out and finally be able to wiggle it out of there. And then I used one of my good steel drill bits, which I shouldn't have. That was a dumb move. But like, look what it did to my drill bit. There's nothing left. This one, compared to that one, like there's no tip, like no cutting edge on the top anymore. It's just rounded right off. And even like the overall diameter up here is just way smaller. It's just sanded down to nothing. So I was like, oh, I was not pumped about that, but you know what, whatever. It's done now. I can always get another drill bit or two. So yeah. All right, guys, I think that's where we're going to call her for this one. That was a surprising amount of work, just for, you know, for what it is, basically. Just to pour in some stuff and let it set up. But there's a lot of prep that went into there. Yeah, the honing. And you know what? That might have been for a whole lot of nothing. It might not work at all. Like, we might run it up to temp and it just overheats. I don't know. We're just going out on a limb here, but that's future us problem. You know, we'll get there. We'll see what the problem is if we get there. So anyway, if you made it this far, thank you. I appreciate you. I really do. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.